Hello and welcome to my tutorial on making a PowerPoint template in Photoshop. Let's get right into it. I'm going to go to New, set the width to 1024 and the height to 627. I'm going to name the project Sequent Reese Logo, PPT, and we're going to hit OK. We're going to double click on the layer to unlock it, but we're still going to name it Background. Hit OK. We're going to go down and we're going to pick a color for this. I like this particular blue. I've already got the RGB set for it. And we're going to make that blue. We're going to create another layer. We're going to title it Vignette. We're going to switch the background to the foreground and we're going to make that black. Now we're going to grab the elliptical marquee tool. We're going to make a fairly large circle. And then we're going to hit delete. We're going to go to select, deselect, get rid of those marching ants. We're going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we're going to put that to about 75 pixels. And then we're going to soften it up even more by dropping the opacity to about 70%, so there's not too much contrast between the two. Now we're going to add another layer, and we're going to call this one Grid. Now to create a grid, we actually have to make a new file. So go to File, New, and make the width and the height 40 by 40. Hit OK. We're going to double click the layer to unlock it, but we're still going to name it Background. Hit OK, then we're going to go down, we're going to create a new layer, and we're going to call this one Layer 1. We're going to click the default colors and bring the background to the foreground, and we're going to make this box white. Now we're going to select the background layer and we're going to hold down Control key and click the thumbnail to get those marching ants around it. Now we're going to select layer 1, go to Edit, Stroke. We're going to make the width 1 pixel. We're going to make the color black and make sure that inside is selected. Hit OK. This is very important. Make sure to turn off the white background and then get rid of those marching ants. Select, deselect. Now we're going to go to Edit, Define Pattern. We're going to name this 40 by 40 PX and hit OK. And now you're done with that, so you can just close this tab. Now we're going to add our pattern to this slide. We go to Edit, Fill Layer, switch Use to Pattern if it's not already selected. Pull down the Custom Pattern pull down and select the 40 by 40 that you just made. The pattern comes in black, so we want to switch it, so we'll hit Control I to invert that. We want to drop the opacity to about 8%. Really soften it up. And then we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur again. And we're going to put it to around a radius of 3 pixels. Now we want to bring in a logo. File, Open, then grab that nice Reese logo that we have. We want to get rid of the white background, but first we want to double click the layer and unlock it. And we're going to call this one Background Logo. Get the magic wand tool, click on the white area, hold down Shift key and click the area inside the R, and then hit delete. Now we want to drag the logo over to the other tab, and we want to hit Control T to resize this thing so it fits and looks appropriate. And once you're happy with the placement and the size of the logo, you finish it up by hitting Enter. I think this will look a little better if it's white. It'll help blend into the background better and kind of look like a watermark, which is the effect I'm going for here. We want to do the same process we've been doing. We want to drop the opacity about 8%. We don't want it to compete with any of the other information that'll be on the slide. We want it to look like a subtle watermark in the background. Go to blur, Gaussian blur, and we're going to drop that down to about 5 pixels. Now we want to make a new layer. We're going to title this one Header. We're going to grab the rectangular marquee tool, and we're going to make a box towards the top of the slide. We're going to grab the eyedropper tool. We're going to grab a blue from the middle of the slide. Then we're going to grab the paint bucket tool and make the header that blue. And we're going to get rid of the marching ants with select and deselect. Now we want to grab the dodge tool, make sure that highlight is selected. We just want to make a few strokes at the top to kind of punch up this header. Now we want to bring in another logo. File, open, bring in that same Excellent Reese logo we used for the watermark, drag it to the other tab, Control T to resize, and make sure you hold down the shift button when you're resizing to maintain the aspect ratio of the logo. We want to place the logo kind of in line with the bottom line of the header, and I'll show you why in a second. We're going to make a new layer, and we're going to title this one Line. We want to grab the rectangular marquee tool, and we want to make a very thin line at the bottom of the header, stretching all the way over to the Reese logo. And for one final alteration, we really want to offset this Reese logo and give it a nice drop shadow. So go down to Effects, Drop Shadow, put it at an angle of 120, which is already selected, and a distance of 6 pixels. Hit OK, and you're done. So I'd really like to thank you guys for this opportunity to show you some of my skills. I'm really excited about this position. I think I'm perfect for it, and I look forward to hearing more from you guys about this great opportunity. Take care.